All right, so midweek soccer is back. So that means today on the Football Foodie, I'm going to be recapping Champions League and Europa League soccer. I'm also going to be doing something a little different today. I'm not going to make you wait till the end. So for a food review, I'm just a little hungry and I'm kind of excited to be trying out these sweet ghost pepper chips and avocado oil by Hardbite. I'm excited to try them. So if I start turning red throughout this interview, it is not because I like Manchester United. It's probably because I'm eating ghost pepper chips. Kind of spicy. This is going to be a fun one. So stay tuned. So let's kick it off. What happened Tuesday? So on Tuesday, Manchester City to Norway to play Bodo. They weren't really happy with the results. They decided to refund their fans. You don't see that often. A team refunding your fans who make a journey out to Norway. Good on City for at least respecting their fan base. Yes, Manchester City has millions and millions of at their disposal. I personally am not shocked by this. Bodo is one of those teams that they proved this last year in Europa League. You got to check out the soccer that's coming out of Norway. Some big names as well, like Holland. He's from Norway. Like there's some huge names coming out of Norway. So good on Bodo for the upset, and good on City for respecting their fans and giving them a refund. Pep's kind of in trouble here if he loses to Wolverhampton. They need to win this game this weekend. See what happens in the EPL with Manchester City. Big game that happened was a beating. Someone should call 911. Real Madrid, they showed up. Yeah, they're not refunding their fans for this one. They ended up beating Monaco convincingly 6-1. Kind of a statement win for Herabola. Mbappe, he had a brace. Vinicius, he supplied a lot of the good passes and he was playing out of his mind. He also scored as well. Bellingham, same thing as well. He also chipped in with a goal. Of course, when you're winning by that much, you're gonna get an own goal. Good on Real Madrid. Makes you wonder if they're one of the favorites to win it this year. Another convincing win was Bayern Munich. They ended up winning 2-0 at home. They're also one of the top favorites. They're at the top of the table as well. Bayern Munich, you got to keep an eye out on them. Vincent Company, he's running the team pretty respectively. The leaders of the table for Champions League. This is a weird format, but hey, it's Arsenal. They got Jesus to come back. Yes, they got Gabriel Jesus with a 2-0 brace. It's good to see him scoring some goals. Let's see how far Arsenal goes this year. Will they be stumped by PSG? I don't know. I'll tell you one team that stumped PSG. Sporting. Big upset. PSG was favored to go to Lisboa and get a nice W. Shockingly, Sporting won. Well, personally, I don't think it's shocking. Sporting is a giant killer. They always do good against the good teams. They're in 10th spot. They should advance easily to the next round of the Champions League. So we'll keep an eye out on Sporting as well. Good for Sporting for upsetting the defending champs at home. That happened on Wednesday. Mourinho's in trouble. Yes, Mourinho is in trouble, guys. Benfica, they ended up losing 2-0. The real difference maker in that game was Sergio Conceição. He came in the second half and the game just changed. Juventus just got in there, put in a commanding lead of 2-0. Pavlidis missing penalty shots. That's not going to help you win. Mourinho's Benfica, they're at the bottom of the table. They're not in a good spot. They're going to have a lot of questions if they don't qualify. They're right now in 29th spot with 6 points. They're actually tied for Bodo. Bodo is actually better than Benfica. They're both at 6 points each. So they're going to need some help to get to the top 24 and advance to the next rounds of Champions League. So let's keep our eyes out on what happens with Benfica. It's not looking good for Mourinho. Barcelona, they conceded 2 goals. But you know what? They were also capable of scoring 4 goals. Barcelona ended up beating Slavia 4-2 in Czechia. Convincing win. Talking about non-convincing wins, Chelsea, they struggled. They struggled against Pafos. I'm probably saying that wrong. But the Cyprus Minnows, who are at the bottom of the table at 30th spot, Moises Caicedo had to bail out Chelsea. So what's going on with Chelsea? They win the Club World Cup and they end up struggling in Champions League. They're on 8th spot, but you should be beating teams like Pafos. They are in the top 8 as of right now, slated to go to the next round without the playoffs. It's been an interesting one. Next week, there's going to be a couple of more games as well. The biggest fixtures next week are probably going to be Benfica, Real Madrid. Mourinho, good luck, buddy. Maybe Florentino Perez will just straight up grab him and make him switch benches. We'll know. Sporting is playing Atletico Bilbao. That's going to be a good one as well. Napoli, Chelsea. That's going to be a good one. Napoli ended up drawing to Copenhagen during this round of Champions League, but they should have done better. They should have beat Copenhagen. I believe Copenhagen also had a red card that game. So Napoli versus Chelsea. That's going to be a good game. Should be evenly matched. I'll keep an eye out on that one. That's going to be the game of the week next week, in my opinion. Bayern Munich, PSV. PSV isn't necessarily doing the best, but we'll see how they do against Vincent Company's Bayern Munich, who's near at the top of the table. Other games, Manchester City. They're going to Turkey. Probably get hair surgeries. I wonder, do you think they would get a refund for hair surgeries if they lose to Galatasaray? I don't know. We'll keep an eye out on that one. Hopefully, Manchester City is able to put in a more convincing result. Other games that are going to happen is going to be Bilbao, Bodo. Bodo is going to be playing for their spot in the top 24. Atletico Madrid. It's going to be an interesting week coming up in Champions League, and it's going to be some interesting times. Get your chips ready and enjoy the next round of Champions League. It's flavorful, but it's not spicy. I don't know if I've turned red yet, but it has like an after kick though. But definitely flavorful. If you guys are looking for something with nothing artificial, I definitely recommend Hard Bite. Pretty good. Cap off what happened with Europa League. I think the game of the week, the most entertaining one from my perspective, was Sporting Braga versus Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest made the trip all the way to Braga. Great stadium, by the way. You guys Google it. It's literally on a mountain. Pretty cool stadium, but that's not here what we're talking about. We're talking about today the performance of Hornachuk. He literally stood on his head. If you guys want to see a great goalkeeping performance and see how a good goalkeeper can win you a game, he saved a penalty shot. A minute after, Nottingham Forest conceded an own goal. The MVP of that game definitely had to be Hornachuk, but the penalty shot save and all the other saves he did, it was a great result for Sporting Braga. Nottingham Forest should have done better. They didn't have it on that day. They ran into a really hot goalie. Another team should have done better was FC Porto. They ended up going to Czechia and they ended up drawing with Victoria Plazan. They should have won that game. They conceded in the first 10 minutes. They were just like playing an uphill battle. I'm not being biased because I'm a Porto fan. Just ignore that scarf. Samu, he has to finish on a penalty shot in the 45th minute. Really rare miss for Samu. He's normally good with them, but I guess you can't get them all. Porto was saved by Dennis Gould in the 90th minute. They ended up drawing 1-1 in Czechia. They could have had a better result, but this unfortunately took them out of the top 8. But they're just on the cusp. They're ninth. They're knocking on the door. Another team who had a good result this week was Roma. They had a convincing win against Stuttgart, and they look pretty good. Roma looks really good with a 2-0 win. They have exciting pieces coming with Daniel Malin as well. Nice loan that they got. I think that they're going to be one of the favorites to win this tournament. Good things are coming for Roma. Lyon also had a nice convincing win against the Young Boys. Why you call your team Young Boys? I don't know. That's a question you gotta like go ask someone else. Lyon, the table leaders. Aston Villa, they also had a nice convincing win this week, and they're also favorites to win. So if I had to put my money on somebody to win this league, I'd probably put it on Roma, and I'd put it on Aston Villa. Lyon, they're doing good so far. I don't think they're fakers. Let's see how Endrick does with them though. Exciting times for Lyon. A lot of interesting game coming up. Oh yeah, let's recap what happened. Porto next week faces the Rangers. That should be a win for Porto. We're not being biased towards any teams here. But Porto does look like they're good and in form. They're not losing games. That's spicy. Woo! Yeah, these chips are actually, they have like a nice, creepy, slow bite. If you're going to have them with caution. They're really delicious though. I've had like half the bag. Anyways, that's the Europa League recap. A lot of interesting games coming out. Europa League and Champions League. Yeah, let's get to the real reason why we watch these videos. The chip review. Flavorful, healthy. The avocado oil, definitely good. I recommend it. If you're wanting to avoid seed oils and stuff like that, get stuff with avocado oil. No, this is not as spicy as some other stuff I've tried in my life, but it has a nice little creeper effect, and you could kind of enjoy these. So if I had to rate these chips out of 10, I'd probably give them a 7. Flavor's good, but the spice is just weird. It has like a little tickling effect at the back of your throat. But overall, it's a good product. I got this at No Frills, so if you see this at your grocery store and you want something spicy, highly recommend it. All right. Thank you for watching The Football Foodie. Any recommendations of what else I should try? Definitely leave a comment below. Let me know. I'm open to trying a lot of food. And yeah, I'll see you next time.